Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Looks like you're interested in board games and maybe even coaching based on the stuff you sent over about IBGA.
IBGA.
Yeah, the International Board Game Academy. So today we're going to unpack that and their approach to, well, spreading the love of board games.
That's fun. I'm really interested to see how, as their presentation suggests, IBGA combines having fun with board games and personalized coaching for all ages.
This presentation deck has a whole section of their bios. And wow, each one is, they're all really interesting.
Yeah.
They have such diverse backgrounds, like one's from finance and then another one's from interior design.
Huh. It's like they're not just about loving board games, but about bringing a unique perspective to the table.
Right. Like take David Tan, for example.
Okay, what about him?
He started with those classic games, like Monopoly.
Yeah, I know Monopoly.
But then he discovered Euro-style games.
Uh-huh.
And everything changed for him. Even in his bio, it mentions that he's a certified neuro-linguistic programming coach. Can you believe that?
That's really interesting. What's fascinating about that is, well, neuro-linguistic programming can apply to a bunch of stuff, but thinking about it in this context, he probably helps players understand, their own thought processes, while they're playing. It's like adding a whole new layer to the learning experience.
Totally. And then there's Kuke Cern, who's in a completely different world as a pharmaceutical sales professional.
Wow, that's a big change.
He sees board games as a fun way to connect with people from different generations.
I can definitely see that.
And he's also studying neuro-linguistic programming.
Huh. Seems like a theme is emerging here. This passion for both board games and personal development. They're not just teaching how to play a game, but helping people grow.
You're totally right. I'm saying that too. Now, let's move on to JP Tan, who is an entrepreneur and, get this, a volunteer tutor and children's curriculum designer.
Wow. Sounds like he's got a knack for connecting what happens in a game to real life and then helping kids apply those lessons.
Exactly. And then we have Zach Chong, who's an interior designer. His bio mentions games from the classic Monopoly to more modern ones like Patchwork and Azul.
I've heard of Azul.
That's a good one. He really believes board gaming is beneficial for, well, everyone, but especially in such a digital world.
Yeah, I can see that. It's fantastic how each coach brings something unique. It really shows how there are so many ways to enjoy and learn from board games.
Right, there's no one right way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally we have our Mensa member, Sherilyn Tan.
What does she do?
She's a psychology graduate. She's super passionate about working with adolescents, and she sees board gaming as a powerful tool for mental development.
That's really remarkable how they put together such a talented team. It really says something about their dedication to providing personalized and enriching experiences for their students.
So now that we've met this awesome team, the question is, how do they approach, board games as an educational tool?
Good question.
Well, their presentation has a whole slide titled Board Game as an Effective Educational Tool.
Okay.
And it is packed with insights.
Oh.
They also address parents' concerns about their children's development.
You were saying how intrigued you were about the diverse backgrounds of all the coaches. What's interesting here is that IBGA, they recognize that learning isn't one size fits all, right? Having coaches with different expertise can help students with different personalities and learning styles. It makes it a lot more personalized.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And speaking of personalized, they highlight how children are drawn to fun, interactive activities, and board games offer exactly that.
For sure.
They emphasize that board games can help children develop skills that'll help them succeed academically.
Interesting.
They can even help children learn more about their own inner world. They even talk about how Euro-style board games are all about planning and management, which could be great for kids who are interested in business.
Huh.
Think about games like Settlers of Catan, where, you have to carefully manage your resources to build settlements and roads.
Yeah, I know that one.
These games, they teach you to plan ahead, adapt to changing situations, and make, strategic choices, which are really valuable skills in any field.
If you connect this to the bigger picture, IBGA is tapping into a trend of using games for education. They're positioning board games as a fun and engaging way to develop skills that are relevant, inside and outside the classroom.
Absolutely. And it's not just about academics. Their presentation dives deeper into the benefits of board games, specifically what they call the play therapy advantages of board gaming.
IBGA seems to be incorporating those therapeutic principles into their coaching. Instead of just focusing on winning, they might encourage players to like talk about how losing makes them feel.
Huh.
It helps kids, develop emotional intelligence and learn healthy ways to deal with setbacks.
That makes sense. And it looks like they don't stop there. They believe board games can help kids learn social etiquette, through face-to-face interaction away from screens.
Right.
Then they move on to this idea of, like, teaching kids that winning and losing aren't everything.
That's an important lesson for sure. With coaching and, supervision, children can reflect on why they won or lost and learn to handle their emotions in a healthy way.
And it gets even more interesting. They talk about how board games can expose kids to real-world themes at an earlier age. They mention things like protecting the environment, history, and geography.
It's like they're creating like these little microcosms of the real world, like within these games.
Yeah.
It's a really clever way to spark curiosity and encourage kids to explore these topics further.
Now, before we get to that champion mindset they talk about, let's look at how they assess performance. They have the section called Professional Review, where they emphasize giving feedback to help students continuously improve. They assess things like attentiveness, cooperativeness, and articulation.
Wow. It's really impressive how they're taking such a holistic approach to assessment. They're not just focused on creating, expert game players, but well-rounded individuals who can thrive in various aspects of life.
Well, they share some interesting quotes that suggest it's about more than just coming out on top.
Yeah.
One quote states that that a well-played game becomes excellent because of the way it's played.
Yeah.
Like the quality of the experience matters just as much as, the outcome.
Yeah.
Another one emphasizes that no matter who wins, playing well together means accomplishing what they set out to do.
While I see the value in, striving for excellence, I wonder if this emphasis on a champion mindset might alienate some learners who might not be as competitive.
That's a good point.
IBGA could balance it with a focus on collaboration and the joy of playing, making sure everyone, feels included and valued.
That's a really thoughtful point. It's about, finding that balance between encouraging a healthy competitive spirit and making sure everyone feels comfortable and enjoys the process. And speaking of enjoying the process, yeah, this great quote. It says, "We play in such a way that the people we play with would want to play with us again."
That's a beautiful sentiment. It highlights the importance of sportsmanship, respect, and creating a positive and enjoyable experience for everyone. It seems like IBGA really prioritizes building a sense of community and fostering positive social interactions, through games.
And to further emphasize that point, they have another quote. "Victory is not determined by who wins, nor by what game we play, but rather by the quality of playing we have been able to create together."
Wow. It's a powerful message that goes beyond the world of board games. It's about shifting the focus from individual achievement to collective excellence. Considering what we know about Mensa and its focus on intellectual ability, Sherilyn with her psychology degree and focus on cognitive development seems like a strong contender. Her background in psychology and membership in Mensa suggest a deep understanding of how the mind works.
But the intrigue continues as we delve deeper into IBGA's approach. Their presentation states, children love fun and interactive activities.
Yeah, I remember that.
They emphasize how board games, they tap into that natural tendency.
It's a smart strategy. They're not just focusing on, the educational aspect. They're recognizing and embracing the joy and engagement that board games offer.
Exactly. And remember, their focus on Euro-style board games. There's a good reason for that. These games, they often involve strategic thinking, planning, and resource management skills that are valuable in many areas of life.
They've taken those crucial elements of, say, a business simulation and made them accessible and fun through these games.
And it's not just about the cognitive side. IBGA emphasizes social emotional learning, believing that board games provide a safe space for kids to practice social skills, learn about winning and losing gracefully, and develop empathy.
In today's world where digital interactions are so prevalent, board games offer those invaluable face-to-face connections and opportunities to build those essential social skills.
Speaking of navigating complexity, their presentation also touches on those play therapy advantages of board gaming. helping kids process emotions, become more resilient, and even address things like anxiety or low self-esteem.
This is where their approach really, really shines. They're using board games as a tool for self-discovery and emotional intelligence.
They specifically mention how board games can help children understand that there's more to winning and losing.
Right.
It's about the journey, the lessons learned, and the personal growth that happens along the way.
It's a message that resonates with a growth mindset, focusing on effort, learning, and continuous improvement rather than just the outcome. It's experiential learning at its best.
We've seen how IBGA views board games as, powerful educational tools.
It sounds like they have a structured and deliberate approach to coaching.
There's even this quote, "We play in such a way that the people we play with would want to play with us again."
Ah, that's nice. They're shifting the focus from individual achievement to, like, creating something meaningful together.
And they wrap up their presentation with this. In priority, do I play to win? Usually. Do I play to play? Always.
Yeah. They get that competitive spirit, but at the same time, the real joy is in the experience itself.
It really captures the heart of what makes board games special, that mix of entertainment, education, and personal growth. But, their presentation doesn't really break down their coaching methods.
True. It's like they're inviting us to reach out and see for ourselves.
So we're playing detective again.
Yeah, I guess so.
What clues can we find?
Well, they emphasize personalized coaching. That suggests that they tailor their approach to different needs and goals.
It sounds like they're creating a learning experience that's really crafted to, maximize growth.
Yeah, definitely. And remember how they talked about aligning with how children are naturally receptive to fun?
Uh-huh.
Well, that suggests that their coaching sessions are probably pretty engaging and interactive, lots of play and discovery.
It's like sneaking in those lessons while having fun.
Exactly. And they even talk about applying fitness concepts to mental agility.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What do you think they mean by that?
Well, maybe they incorporate mental training techniques, to help people develop focus, concentration, strategic thinking. It's like they're training like mental athletes.
They're creating this supportive environment where people can, explore their emotions, build social skills, and develop self-confidence. And all through board games.
It's really impressive.
So we've taken this journey through the world of IBGA, from their coaches to their educational approach.
Yeah, this deep dive has been really fascinating.
But here's a final thought for you, dear listener. If board games can teach us valuable life skills, what specific skills do you think they could help you develop?
That's a great question. Think about it, everyone.
Share your thoughts with us on social media, and let's keep this conversation going. From all of us here at The Deep Dive, thanks for joining us, and keep playing those board games.
Have fun out there.